Well, this is consider this is an answer to the 5 questions posed to atheists by Veritas 48. It's actually an answer also to those detractors and critics who came on and made comments uh, about facts versus religion. The young lady who made the video about how rude she was and all this shit. Okay, and they were actually saying it as if it's something braggadocious, like, "Well, I'm an atheist, but I thought she was rather rude," and what the fuck? That's the point. That's the point. Nobody said nobody. There's no rule that says we have to tolerate delusions. There's no rule that says we have to do that or respect another's belief. I don't get that. You don't respect, let's say, you got a schizophrenic running down the street screaming about Jesus and how he's Jesus and blah, 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 and all this other crap. You don't respect that. That's their belief, but you don't respect it. It's just like Christians. I say Christians because they're at the forefront right now here in America. They seem to be the worst perpetrators, one might say, of intolerance, total intolerance. They've always been intolerant. There are still laws on the books that propose that if you don't believe in a God, you can't hold office. Yeah. And they still have, I mean, come on. People actually, you actually got these guys. What do you mean you're being persecuted? Bullshit. You guys got the upper hand. Oh, man. You guys don't even, I mean, even in your own head, you're sitting there thinking atheists are evil. So how can you even think that? It's just stupid. Of course you think we're some kind of a demon or something because that's your belief system. You believe in magic. There it is. That's what it comes down to. Because you're one of those who, you say things like, well, I look at all real truths, but that's a caveat, because it's like real truth to you is the Bible. So that's enough said. You know what I mean? I mean, talk about a pornographic, heinous book of murder, mayhem, pillaging. This God of yours, this deity, he's probably the biggest serial killer ever. Ever. And, you're the ones who say that he makes all these rules. You're the ones who say that you don't know right from wrong. And yet you come an atheist with these goofy questions that aren't even really questions. Like, do you like the new atheist movement and its intolerance of goofy bullshit? Yes, I do. Actually, there isn't a movement. We're trying to make a movement. I really wish more atheists would get their heads out of their asses and make videos like this and ridicule the ridiculous, which is what they deserve. Not but anything else but ridicule. They deserve not but ridicule because they're ridiculous. They actually believe a man lived in a fish for 3 days, for crying out loud. That because volcanic material was pouring down on Sodom and Gomorrah, that this one guy left and, refugee, and he told his wife, if you turn and look at it and stare for too long, you'll turn into a pillar of salt. Well, that's true, because look where they were. The Dead Sea is all full of salt. Anybody who stands for too long in that area will definitely be covered in salt. Anyway, you want to ask all these silly questions of us, and we can't answer them because they're not really questions. They're nothing there's no real substance to the questions. Well, except for the one about how do we appreciate the new movement or whatever that is. You have yet to define what the new movement is. This thing, it's what you define it, and that doesn't count. That's not the atheist movement. That's your movement. That's what you think atheists are doing. Actually, the only group we have together is like the American Atheist Association that filed suit on those who want to put the crosses at ground zero. Well, there are a lot of other things that are way more important than that they could file suit on. For instance, I mentioned this before, but I can't help it. When you answer questions like this with these kinds of people, you can't, you know, they don't really want an answer. You know, what they're doing is they're trying to make a statement, an assumption, because they could really care less what you think. They don't care, and that's why you ridicule a young lady is perfect. Don't kowtow to these jerks out here. I know you're not. We're tired of the tolerance. They're pedophiles, sexually frustrated, womanizers, oppressors, despots. That's all they are. They're not peaceful. They're not a good thing. There's nothing nice about being threatened with eternal torture and burning and shit if you don't follow the rules. There's nothing peaceful about that. What's wrong with you folks? Nothing peaceful about stoning your daughter to death if she's not a virgin when she wants to get married. Nothing peaceful about that. Nothing peaceful about stoning your brother to death in front of all the neighbors because he says he doesn't believe in your God. Nothing peaceful about that. There's nothing peaceful about your Jesus saying to the Romans, I bring a sword, I do not bring peace. It is a sword I bring, not peace. What's peaceful about that? He's telling you right there, he's going to fight. But of course, the Jesus in literal history was basically just a leader of a rebel band of Jews that were trying to shuffle off the yoke of Roman control. It was all just a rebellion, and he was the leader. Very charismatic, apparently, because he got everybody to give up their money and convinced them that he knew God. Of course, plenty of the younger calls it the Christish cult it is. And I even had a guy get on here answering me saying, Christianity is not a cult. Scientology is a cult. Now, if you actually look at the definition of the word cult, Christianity is a 100% follower of that definition. It defines Christianity, the worship of a supernatural being, or the personification of such supernatural being. That's exactly what you guys do. What are you talking about? You're not a cult. All religions are cults. Just because yours is accepted doesn't make it any different. You're all mythological delusions. And like I said, according to Pope Gregory, it's 2011, for crying out loud. Wake up. We've been to the moon 6 times. And we should go back. We should do other things, go to Mars and such. And proof that there's life on other planets? We're here. It's actually impossible that there is no other life. It's impossible. It's not possible. It could never happen. It doesn't happen. Life emerges. It's abundant. It can't help it. It's very versatile. It thrives. There's nothing you can do about it. Which is why we've had, 4 or 5 major extinctions. Over 99% of the species died out. We had it so bad, the whole Earth was a frozen snowball, basically. They didn't think anything survived. Well, apparently, bacteria survived in the ice for 20 million years. So why is it so hard to understand the scientific principle and the evolutionary principle? And that just because you don't understand that just because you don't get science or you don't want to, because according to your Bible, you're not allowed to eat the tree, the fruit from the tree of knowledge. Yeah, your deity wants you to stay dumbed down and stupid so he can have his way with you up the butt and stuff, or whatever. And it's just, but how can you not ridicule the ridiculous? How can you not have a shitty, snotty attitude with such snotty attitudes? I mean, it's silly. They say that they give us this thing about evolution now. Well, there's no way everything can just pop into existence just like that. The whole time, they're trying to convince us of magic. That they say their guy popped everything into existence all at once. So which is it? Possible or impossible? Come on. You think magic is the solution? It's the lazy man's answer. It's so you don't have to think. You call it miracles if you want, but it's magic. The old black magic. Black magic. Not white magic. Black magic. That's what it makes any difference, really. But that's what you're believing in. You're saying your creature looked at the earth and it was without form. It was a void. How can you be looking at it if it's without form and a void? Huh? That's just one of my questions. There's so many out there. Your Bible's just full of questions. It's so convoluted and confusing to most people. Actually, I've read it and I really do understand it. It's basically just, it's porno. Somebody wrote a porno and turned it into a worship thing and a deity thing. Somebody saw a UFO, saw a visitor from another planet, probably talked to him. Ezekiel did for sure. I mean, he described it literally. The Sumerians describe them literally. Their name for the Anunnaki is those who from the stars come. Or came. Excuse me. Literal translation. They were told that we come from the stars. So that's what they wrote. That's what they called them. The Sumerian texts, read them. They talk about the machines and everything, and how they went hither and thither and without a sound and all this other stuff, or with many sounds and many waters and fire. It's weird, but that's what they wrote. And to assume, to think that you have this special creation thing going on, that there's no way you could have ever been an ape, evolution, and all that you were specially created, zap, just like you are. Very good. Nice job. And yet you try to ridicule us for thinking, you feel that that's how we think, that everything is zapped into out of nothing. That's not it at all. There's millions of years of evolutionary process that goes on to make life. Part of it might even not. They say, include an asteroid hitting the ocean, creating certain amino acids. See, if you look at science, it's not all black and white. That's why it's there. That's why we have the theoretical principle. That's why we have the scientific principle, the hypothesis, the theory, and blah, blah, blah. And if you don't get that, it doesn't mean that by default, it's magic. That's just lazy. So, everybody out there who's trying to ridicule fact versus religion, you're not doing a good job. I mean, this guy deserves nothing but ridicule and derision, and I'm full of it for him. And why are we pissed off? The main reason is we can't seem to get you freaks and your delusion out of our government. Congressional chaplains, company chaplains, chaplains every freaking where, and always monotheistic Christian. So don't give me that crap about an interdenominational. They're not. Been there, done that. Always Christian of some kind. Bullshit. Talk about establishing a religion. And then you drag your kids